Hi friends. Hope everybody is having an amazing day. It's Gabrielle, and I just wanted to jump on here and give you the 6 lessons that I learned from yoga and why it is such an awesome practice. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself before I even get into this video, I have been practicing yoga for about 10 years. I've been teaching for almost 5, and yoga has been there with me through so much of my life, just as it is for everyone. But I feel like the transitions that I've gone through, I've really leaned into my yoga, and these are the lessons that I've just come to understand and come to know through my practice. And none of this has come easy. None of this has been without struggle. I am a very stubborn person by nature, so it is definitely something that has taken me a whole lot of practice in order to come to these realizations on my mat and even off my mat too. So 6 lessons. So the first lesson being that there is always an ebb and flow, like, to everything. And what I mean by that is every time you meet the mat, you have a different practice. Your practice may look different from what it was yesterday. And, coming to terms with that and basically like allowing yourself to be exactly as you are every single time you meet the mat is really difficult, especially if you are an achiever. And I think that our society is kind of set up for us to have this like achieve and see an upward progression and all of that. And really, this whole ebb and flow concept really forces you to surrender to the day and forces you to surrender to wherever you're at. So you can already see where the parallels from yoga on the mat to yoga off the mat in life, where that would start to kind of shift things. So pretty incredible thing to kind of learn through yoga. The next lesson, and this was a really, really big one for me, number 2, is your pace doesn't matter, but your intention does. And on the mat, how that translates is basically, a lot of times we feel like we have to rush in order to progress or in order to, feel the practice in a certain way. And really, when we slow down and we really get intentional in our practice, we feel our yoga completely different, and we're allowed to really connect to our breath, connect to our body. And it's just so awesome to be able to honor yourself in that space. So there's 3 H's when it comes to slowing your pace down and getting really intentional. A lot of times, the first thing is that you're honoring where you are. So honoring where you are. There's a huge sense of humility in slowing your practice down, because it is not, power through everything. It is listen to what's going on and losing ego and losing what you think you should be, and just allowing yourself to be. And the last H for that is honesty. So really being honest with yourself. I think that how this translates off the mat is even bigger, because we see the people around us and their highlight reels and all of that stuff, and we see all this like amazing progression and, this and that, where, a lot of people aren't showing their ebb and flow. So they're not showing all of the work that it took to get to that highlight. And, the pace of that, getting to that highlight, that destination, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you're moving forward with intention, good intention, and as long as, you're really feeling all of those intentions and feeling yourself through that transition and really enjoying the process. So that is a huge lesson that I learned from yoga. Literally has taken me up to this point to really honestly believe that in my heart, that it doesn't matter. It's like mind-boggling that even as instructors, we're still learning. We're always students. So The next lesson that I have learned is that when we meet challenge, not to shy away from the challenge or the tension or any of that, but to actually breathe through it and to create a little bit of space in that area, and asking ourselves, like, what is this teaching me? Like, how that translates to things in life. Okay. A lot of times when we find challenges or obstacles in our life, if we can just take a step back, just a really honest step back and look at it through a different lens and just think of, what is this teaching me? Like, what is this for? It's pretty awesome. Pretty humbling, pretty awesome. The next one actually kind of trickled right into it, but creating space for ourselves, holding space for ourselves. But the great thing about creating and holding space for ourselves is that when we are able to do that and do that on a real solid level, we actually are more open to doing that with others and being able to express that holding space. And if you've never heard the term holding space, basically allowing others to I always say this when my son's in timeout, like, feel your feelings, but feel your feelings, allowing other people to feel their feelings and to work through their own processes without you having to get involved or you getting angry or you being reactionary or any of those things. It's like a lifelong process of learning how to do that, and it's just awesome the moments that you can really genuinely hold space for other people. So the next thing that yoga has taught me is to trust myself. And this is a really big one. This is awesome because I really feel like a lot of people don't trust themselves. They don't have faith in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. And I know for me, when I really am in a space of trust for myself and for my heart, then I know what I'm capable of in any given moment. And I also feel as though to deny being trustworthy of myself is to deny that capability. It is not listening to my intuition. It's not honoring who I truly am. So, all of us have intuition. All of us have that little, tug in us that we do have to trust, for sure. So, trusting myself, especially, how you learn it on the mat is just through play and through exploration and understanding yourself and understanding the mechanics of your body. But then, obviously, trusting yourself in life, Okay, so the last space that lesson I have learned is loving myself. And this is a really big one because I'm really proud that I feel this way. But, not only loving my exterior, but loving my interior, loving your body, loving your mind, loving your heart, and, loving all of your realness, all of your flaws. And, how I do this in a multitude of ways. Or how I express love to myself is through a multitude of ways. So a lot of people will say, like, self-care or whatever. I think self-care is amazing. I think that it shouldn't be like a separate entity. That should just be the way that you live your life. And, some people will define that as, taking yourself and doing something special for yourself, like getting your nails done or going to the spa or whatever. How that translates for me is that I want to nourish my body. I want to take care of this temple that I have, this body that I have, this one life that I have. And so I think that, loving myself really starts with taking care of myself on all levels, taking care of my mind, taking care of my body. And I'm just grateful that I'm in a space that, I am very aware, I'm very in tune to that. And I think that that's available for everyone. And, sometimes I think that in any of these areas, right? In any of these areas, we may need a little help. We don't really know how to get started. And that's really been kind of the reason that I even wanted to do this video, because I've had a lot of people that ask, how do I start a yoga practice? Is it for me? All of those things. And yoga is for everyone. Wellness is for everyone. Higher quality of life is for everyone. And it really just starts with the decision to love yourself and take care of yourself. Understand why that's so important. So if you listened through these points and there was anything that kind of resonated with you and you were like, man, that I feel like she's talking to me, or you've been searching for improvement in any of these areas, know that you're not alone. Know that this is like a constant. This is not something that like you learn at one time and like it's fixed. It's something that, practice is practice. So that constant practice and constant cycle of loving and compassionate thoughts for yourself, and then that will eventually radiate to everyone. So, and if you need help around any of these points, this is what I do. This is what I do for a living, for a life, for my passion. So if you are interested, please feel free to reach out to me. I want to be able to help you. And right now I'm offering one-on-one wellness and movement consultations. So if you are local to the Baltimore area, that means that we could get together and we could just talk about the things that you're struggling with. Whether that is, your nutrition or body or, physical activity or mindset or any of those things. Yoga, if you want to incorporate yoga, I'd be happy to meet with you. And if it's something that we have to do virtually, we can totally do that too. So definitely reach out. Let's just talk and see all the possibilities. So I hope that you're having a great night. Thanks for listening, and I'm sending you lots of peace and love and light. All right, bye.